Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Patrick here. In this video, we're gonna talk about the top 5 toughest sales interview questions you're gonna get when you are interviewing for your sales job. I'm gonna show you what these questions are, exactly how to handle it or how I would handle it so that you can take some inspiration from that and do the same. Now, before we get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and if you're ready to start and accelerate your sales career, make sure to check out my masterclass, Sales Legacy, that'll teach you everything you need to know when it comes to sales from A to Z. With that said, let's go ahead and dive in. So the first question that we have today is, what motivates you to be in sales? Now, how I would answer it is honestly. So I would say, thanks for asking the question. So why I really want to be in sales is because I believe that sales is the lifeblood of every single business. If you don't have sales and you're not generating any revenue, well, you don't really have a business. And I personally want to be in sales so that I can directly learn that valuable skill set. And I want to learn these skills with your company because I really believe you guys have an amazing product or amazing service. And I really do believe you're making a strong, positive impact in the world. And so if I'm gonna learn to sell, I might as well sell a product and service that I really care about. Now, the next question that we have is, a lot of people are gonna ask you, what is your strategy to find new leads and generate more business? This is especially true if you're an SDR, someone who has to generate leads, or you're an account executive who has to go out and find potential customers. Here's how I would answer that question. The first thing I would say is, well, before I answer the question, can I ask real quick, what is your preferred channel or method that is working for you when it comes to generating leads? Is it cold email? Is it LinkedIn or cold calling? They might say, right now, cold email works with us amazingly right now. I'll say, okay, great, thanks for sharing that with me. In that situation, here's what I would do. First, on the first day when I start working with you guys, I would ask all the sales rep and look in the CRM to see, who exactly your ideal customer is. What pain points do they have? How do you solve it? Why exactly they purchase your product and service compared to, any other person they could have potentially worked with, right? So we understand exactly who our customer is, which is very important. Next, what I would do is I would look online or use any database that you may have on who else fits this ideal customer profile in whatever region you want me to sell into. For example, you're selling a software that helps people with their email automation. Well, I just gotta think, who out there in the world needs some email automation, right? And I would take your ideal customer profile and I would try to replicate it in different markets. And if you're saying cold email is gonna be the best effective channel for you, well, I would send out cold emails and I would do a lot of A/B testing, 20 here, see what works, what doesn't, and I would keep optimizing until my open rates and my conversion rates are extremely high to generate those leads. And so that's exactly what I would do if I started working at your company. Okay, so the next question we have is, can you tell us about your past sales experience? I'm gonna do 2 parts. Number 1 is if you don't have any sales experience at all. Number 2 is if you do have sales experience. So if I didn't have any sales experience, I wanted a sales job, I'm in an interview, well, they already know I don't have any sales experience, so I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say, hey, look, to be honest, I don't have any, professional selling experience like similar to what I'm applying for today, but I can say that I've done a lot of things in the past that directly correlate to possibly being successful in sales. When I was in university, I was the leader of X, Y, and Z, and here's how I persuaded ABC to donate X amount of dollars to our charity or whatever it is. And so all I would really do is find instances in my life where I'm communicating with people, having them persuade, and if there's any, dollars or transactions moving around, explain to them how I was able to make those dollars move to us. So that's basically selling, just not like professional selling, but it's exactly the same skill set. Now, if you do have a job, all you need to do is highlight your winning points, right? So you could say, when I started working at this company, we weren't getting any leads. So here's what I did to generate meetings using cold email. First, I did XYZ, and then on and on and on. And then you talk about the end result that the potential interviewer is looking for, right? As long as you show them that you can do the job, meaning you can do prospecting or closing, and you gave some examples of you doing that in high stakes situation, well, that's pretty much how you answer that question. The next question we have is, why do you want to work for our company specifically? Meaning that when you're interviewing, technically you could be working at anywhere. Why this company specifically? And the reason for why interviewers ask that is because they're wondering, is this person just looking for a paycheck and they're just gonna work anywhere that gives them an offer, or do they really want to work with us? That's very important because if you are looking for a paycheck, it's gonna show in how you treat people, how you interact with the team, how hard you try in your job, and all those things, right? But if you really want to work at that specific company for a very specific reason, this is your time to shine. So after working at Oracle, I actually worked at a startup, and then they asked me certain questions of like, why do you wanna work at this company specifically, right? Like what was honestly true for me at that time was that I wanted to join a startup that was going to exponentially grow. At the time, they were at 20 employees, they raised a lot of money, and they're on their way to hiring hundreds of people, which they eventually did. And I wanted to be on that path of like learning startup sales, learning how to sell a product that nobody really knows about. Me personally wanted to learn that skill and wanting to do that for them, right? So it didn't really matter for me what the product or service really was, to be fair, right? It was like an API for delivering mail, right? Not super sexy, but the opportunity was really sexy because I got to sell something really good that was competitive in the market, working with smart people. And it was just an opportunity for me to learn and contribute value to this company to help them achieve their goals, right? It's a win-win situation on both sides. So that was my honest answer on how I approach it. And for you, you gotta really think like, do you actually want to work at this company? If you don't, then you probably shouldn't even be applying there, to be honest, unless you really, really need a job. Otherwise, like whatever is true to you, I think that's what you should be saying. So the final question that we have here is, do you have any questions for us? And you'll find that in an interview, a lot of times the interviewer will ask this question to really gauge the candidate. When I interview people, I actually really don't like it. They get like minus points for not having any questions at the end of the interview because it kind of shows like how serious someone is about the job. Like for me, for example, if I were to, let's say, quit all the entrepreneurial stuff I'm doing and I decide to get a job, right? At the end of an interview, I'm gonna have a ton of questions for the founder or whoever is the hiring manager because I wanna make sure that this is the right opportunity for me. I wanna know what their future vision looks like, where I can contribute the most, where my career will be if I decide to work with them for years to come, right? Because if this company's not going anywhere, I'm jumping on a sinking ship, not gonna be good for me. And I need to know all these things before I say yes to the actual job, right? I wanna know the day-to-day, the high-level vision, all these different elements. Now, if you don't have a question here, what's gonna happen is the recruiter's gonna be like, this person doesn't care. They're not into it, or they're gonna take any job that comes their way because they're not specific on what they want. And if you're not specific, that also kind of correlates to your skill in the actual job, right? Because if you just take any job, you're not good, because you're a generalist and like you're not gonna perform that well off the bat. But if you're very good, you know your value, you know how you can contribute to a company, and you're looking for the best place to work, of course you're gonna have a ton of questions, right? If you have trouble answering this question as an interviewer, you really need to self-evaluate yourself first to see like how valuable are you really as an employee? Because if you don't have the questions, that's actually a problem. Then the second thing is, okay, what questions should you actually ask? Well, for me, it would be number one, where's the company going? What is the vision, right? Because the vision of the founder or the CEO, whoever runs the company, will determine what everyone does on a day-to-day basis, right? All the way to the nitty-gritty detail. So if the vision is to inspire the world and make a difference in the world and educate people, what people do on a day-to-day basis is going to reflect that. But if the vision is to, let's make as much money as possible and we don't care if we take it out of somebody's pockets. For example, if you run a casino, then how people operate is gonna be completely different, right? They're not out to help the world, they're just there to take your money. And then from there, I wanna know like, what is the day-to-day like? What is it like working with the team members? What is the culture? Is the organization flat where you can just talk to the founders openly and have nice conversations? Or is there like this really rigid hierarchy where if you're at the bottom, you can only talk to your manager and then the founder doesn't even know your name, right? Those are very important things that you should consider. And at that point in time during the interview, that's your time to ask. Those are gonna be some of the most difficult questions you'll encounter in an interview. With that said, my name is Patrick Deng. I'll see you guys in the next one.